Sustainability by Alex Del Castello. Starting this semester, we were asked the question, what is sustainability? Even after a semester's worth of information, the definition is still hard to put in one sentence. When discussing sustainability, you have to take into consideration three aspects. Those are the social, environmental, and economic aspects. The social aspect relating to us. Us, humans, are what dominate this earth. We are what affect it the most, and it's our products that are causing the earth harm. The environmental aspect that relates to recycling, conservation, renewable energy, and other eco-friendly topics. And then the economic aspect that relates to infrastructures and how businesses and industries have a huge role in our everyday lives. These three terms are the legs to sustainability. With these aspects in mind, we also have to take into consideration our four principles. 1. Revolving around humans. 2. Recognizing a larger system. 3. Focusing on the elimination of waste. And 4. Having a focus of the future. The first principle states that we have to realize that this world is basically revolved around humans. Without us, there would be no society. In addition to that, we have to take everyone's ideas and values into consideration. We must maintain a good public health for everyone, and we must ensure happiness. What I mean by this is that it is important to live a sustainable life, but we can't take things to the extreme. Sure, it would be 10 times more environmentally friendly if we had no cars on Earth, but that's unrealistic. Society is so revolved around cars and transportation that we can't really eliminate them. The second principle simply recognizes that we are all in a larger system. In other words, we are all interconnected. We all affect each other in some shape or form. With one of our actions, we are all affected. It's like a domino effect. We share this earth, and it's our actions that are going to have a negative effect. We all affect each other. The third principle focuses on the elimination of waste. Simply stated, we need to watch out for our natural resources and start reducing the amount of trash and material we produce. We are simply creating way too many material that is just getting thrown away. It's our goal to reduce that. And lastly, our fourth principle, which simply focuses on the future. Change is inevitable. No matter what happens, change will come. Society is always changing. From technology to values, there's always a change. And we need to consider this when talking about sustainability. In addition to change, we have to keep our posterity in mind. Our actions will affect our future generations' future. We need to make sure that we don't infringe on their health and well-being. So to start off, we have the environmental unit. Now, when talking about the environment, most people think about the magic 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Now, these 3 R's are important, but that's not what sustainability is all about. A few things to look at is restoration, conservation, renewable energy, and eliminating our pollution and waste. In terms of restoration, we need to start restoring our rainforests and restoring the lost lands that we have destroyed. Humanity has done a great job at taking advantage of everything the earth offers and using it up until it's just about gone. We need to slow down and start repairing our wrongdoings. In terms of conservation, we just need to start reducing the amount of products that we are making and stop using so many natural resources. We need to reduce our carbon footprint. In terms of no pollution and waste, we just have to reduce the amount of litter we create, reduce the amount of toxins we release into the earth, and cut back on our waste. Our space on Earth is limited, and we are creating so much trash that it seems like we think we have an unlimited amount of space on this earth. From watching Plastic Paradise, I was able to learn how important our coral reefs are and understand that they are the second most diverse ecosystem on this planet. With our poor regulations of littering, tumbleweeds of plastic begin to go around the ocean and destroy these ecosystems. It's sickening. Not only does plastic cause harm to our oceans, it causes harm to our animals that may get caught up in it and or possibly eat it. Yuck! This is why we need to reduce our waste and pollution. Every action we have has an impact. Whether you're looking at it from a micro scale or a macro scale, we have negative effects. From the Ecological Footprint Project, I was able to see things at a more micro level perspective. Our everyday lifestyles have impacts on this planet, Every person leaves a carbon footprint behind, and it is important to recognize our footprints and reflect on what we can do to become more sustainable. For example, instead of driving everywhere, using my car, and causing air pollution, I could carpool, take a bus or a shuttle, walk, or ride a bike. Our actions are leading to high CO2 emissions, which causes climate change that have heavy impacts on this planet. While everything may sound bad, we can still change this by reducing our carbon footprint, conserving our energy by using more energy efficient technologies like solar panels and biomass energy, and trying to live a more sustainable life. Next, we have the economic unit. This includes good jobs, fair wages, security, infrastructure, and fair trade. Most people don't realize how much of an impact this aspect of sustainability has. Being sustainable means we take everyone into consideration, and when we do that, we must ensure that everyone has a good job. We don't need bad jobs that bring poor incomes and create a possibility for someone to be homeless. We need good jobs with fair wages and high security. Businesses are a huge chunk of our economy, and some people may try and argue that businesses are what run the world. The only thing most businesses cares about is about making money, not making fair trade or fair wages, or being sustainable. But the funny thing is, businesses wouldn't be able to exist without us. Without people, there are no businesses. They need our money in order to succeed. One way businesses have control over people is through consumer behavior and perception. Corporations have formulated a way of getting people to spend their money. One way is through planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence basically means design for the dumps. You see this with small things like plastic bags and coffee cups. It is also tied with bigger things like computers. They make computers so that they get constantly outdated. Nowadays, every couple of years, things change so much that a computer starts to become incompatible to the rest of the world, making you have to upgrade and buy a new one. It's even more relevant with phones. And when we throw our stuff away, it just sits there in a landfill somewhere, just taking up space. Another way companies get people to spend money is through perceived obsolescence. Perceived obsolescence is just a way of having us throw away stuff that is perfectly useful, like clothes and shoes. For example, when it comes to clothes, there is always a trend going on that ends up changing a few weeks later. Let's take a sweater, for example. You finally get the sweater that everyone has been talking about, and then soon after, the style changes, and commercials tell you that the only way that you'll be happy is if you get this new sweater. So you end up buying this new sweater and never really use the older one. This cycle continues. You just constantly spend money just to stay in the loop. You hop on the bandwagon, so to speak. This is extremely against being sustainable because we should be conserving our material and not just using them willy-nilly. So next time you make a purchase, just think about if you truly need it and see if you can do without it. It is also important to do research about the things you buy, from the product to its company. I say this because there could be some products that are called eco-friendly, but are really just bad for the environment. This is called greenwashing. You'd be surprised how many green products aren't actually that green. Also, if you look at the product's ingredients, and if it includes something terrible, like palm oil, you should just stop buying it and start getting other people to stop buying it. If enough people stop buying a product that contains something like palm oil, then the company will remove it as one of its ingredients. Again, without us, they have no money, so their ingredients may change. It's also important to do research on the company because you don't want the company to be paying people low wages in other countries just to make their products. You want to see if they actually care about the environment and see if they contribute to society, like if they have any programs that support women's rights or tree conservation. Similarly to when not purchasing a product with palm oil, if you stop buying from a company just because of their misuse of fair trade or their harm to the environment, and we make it adamant, then they will change. We can push for it with enough hard work. Lastly, we have the social unit. This includes working conditions, health services, educational services, the community and culture, and social justice. One of the biggest problems that society has is that we don't realize how interconnected we are. As I mentioned in the beginning of this presentation, everyone affects everyone and everything. One person's actions will have multiple effects on people. Everything is just one big cause and effect. With every action, there's a reaction. We need to make sure that working conditions are good for everyone because we want people to have healthy lives. We need health services because without them, people go sick and have no way of getting better. By bettering our education services, we can make more people succeed and help create a stronger impact on this earth. We need to be aware of our communities and our surroundings. Instead of blocking our culture and differences, we need to come together to overcome problems and adversity. With different social justices and social movements, like women's rights and LGBTQ plus rights, we begin to progress. Again, it's not just about one person, it's about all of us. We make up this earth. If we come together, we can create a healthier, happier, and more green environment. I know it may not seem like one person can make a difference, but if you look at things more microscopically, one person really can make a difference. Like in the documentary No Impact Man, one person can make a whole society more aware of the negative impacts we have on the environment and how we can live our lives more sustainable. I'm not saying we have to go all out and turn off all of our electricity within our homes for the rest of our lives, but we can do little things like shopping in bulk and buying from farmers markets. We could also try to limit our car usage and try carpooling more. There's an endless amount of things we could do. When it comes to homelessness, we need to stop being so judgmental. No one knows everything. We don't know what anyone is going through, so we can't be rude to homeless people just because we think that they're all drug addicts. Sometimes people just go through a really rough patch in their life, and we just have to be supportive. Instead of making anti-homeless spikes, like some places do where they add spikes to their sitting areas to prevent homeless people from laying on them, we should be providing more support systems for them. We should try to get more jobs for homeless people and more ways for them to be able to get back on their feet. Overall, we just need to take into consideration that we are all connected, that we all share this earth, and that we need to start coming together instead of drifting apart. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, gay, straight, transgender, Christian, Catholic, atheist, poor, rich, male or female. We are all people. We are all interconnected and we need to come together as a whole. Maybe then we'll start to solve some world problems like climate change. Now, this course has helped me grow in my knowledge of sustainability, but there's always more that can be discovered. I want to learn about how we can get officials to start taking action for the environment. How can we come together to stop climate change and pollution? We already know how to reduce this and that we should get society more aware, but how can we get lawmakers to start doing something about it? How can we put restriction on businesses from greenwashing their products? How can we get industries from causing so much harm to the environment? And how can we get them more accountable for their carbon footprint? I also want to learn how we can start making more energy efficient products. Personally, I plan to do more research on this. I want to fully understand how solar panels work and how it stores energy from the sun and then converts it to usable energy. I find it pretty interesting. But I also want to figure out what else technicians could do to make energy sufficient equipment. My love and passion for the environment is strong, and I plan to never stop learning when it comes to sustainability, because there's always room for growing. See, even after a semester's worth of learning about the environment and doing research, I can't put sustainability into a single sentence. Sustainability isn't a single definition, but a series of actions and thoughts. It's a multitude of aspects that affects everyone and everything. Sustainability isn't just one thing, it's all things. It's taking the environment, our economy, and our social atmosphere, and taking into consideration that everything revolves around us and how we're all a part of a larger system. It's about focusing on the elimination of our waste, and it's having a focus on our nearby and far future. It's realizing that change is inevitable. It's understanding that we all have an impact on this earth. It's not just reduce, reuse, recycle. It's sustainability. Here's my works cited. I do appreciate you guys for listening. I hope you guys have a green day, and remember that we all share this earth, so let's do our role in being more sustainable. Thank you.